You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the August 20th special meeting for the LaPorte County Solid Waste District Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
All right, I'm going to call to order the LaPorte County Recycled Solid Waste District meeting this morning. Everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Haney.
Present.
Commissioner Grammarosa. Mayor Dermody.
Present.
Mayor Nelson Deitch. Commissioner Hollifield.
Present.
Councilman Mullenhour.
Present.
Councilman Prespolinski.
Present.
Okay.
Just for informational purposes, Mayor Angie was going to be here, but she thought we were doing a virtual also. She couldn't be here in person, but she wanted to do it virtually. We just don't have the options here for that.
Okay. Moving on, then we have the minutes from the July 16th board meeting. Is there a motion to approve them?
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second. Motion and a second to approve the minutes. Everybody in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, now we're going to go back to old business. And I just want to let everybody know that I know a lot of these gentlemen here have another commitment at 10:45, right? You have to leave at 10:30.
10:30, so.
Yeah, so, and I know Borden is here this morning, so we're not going to belabor anything. You know, questions come up, let's get to the point, and we'll be in and out of here in 10:30, 11:15, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Number one, appreciate you gentlemen for showing up this afternoon. I know I met some of you guys, a couple months ago. I think we were talking, we had a meeting here. And the other board members that didn't have a chance to meet you gentlemen, and I know that they have questions, so that's why we're here this morning. So what I'm going to do is I'll open it up, and you can make your introductions, gentlemen, and then we'll go from there, okay? So go ahead, dude.
Sure, I know, Don, you and I met earlier. I'm the district manager of Borden's. This is who I report to. Kyle Pennington is our division vice president. And as stated earlier, you know, he's over Illinois as well as Indiana. I asked Evan McFarland, he's our route supervisor for this contract. We have Derek Woolsey, the sales manager, who won, or some of you know, and we also have Johnny Bachman, who is our municipal sales coordinator, and who spends a lot of time with the staff. So again, we are here to answer questions, talk about. I know there was a transition and some concern, and talk through any of your questions, sir.
Yeah, well, I guess just for introductory purposes, can you kind of, let's get when the contract started, how this all came about, and
You should have a cheat sheet inside your packet there. It looks like this. It says Borden issues.
all right, well,
So we'll just start.
go ahead and start going through the cheat sheet and the timeline and where we're at today.
And I know you guys discussed it a little bit, but the first item on our thing, it says the solid waste district was never told the company was sold or being used for asset acclamations or whatever you were doing with it.
I'd like to hit on that if you don't mind. So last March, Waste Connections had purchased, Pineco, Borden, all their brands, Pinecone Transfer Station. Later on, we got Stafford's, which is down in Warsaw. So that's our Indiana sites. I came over day one, announced we'll call it the purchase. Kyle Woolsey was still here, and then Eric Ivory, which I assume you would have known both of them, right? The contract did start January 1, so There wasn't much time for them to have a conversation. It was my understanding that it was already communicated, so I apologize. I should have came over here myself and communicated that directly.
It was never communicated. We didn't even know until you replaced Kyle Wolseley and Eric Ivory. At
Okay.
that point, we started asking questions, and then we were informed that
Yeah. And both of them, we didn't break relationship with them. Eric had got a good opportunity to do something, and then Kyle, obviously the same thing. So it wasn't our intent to change the relations. It's just what happened. So we responded to that, obviously a year into it. And then Derek, Kyle's brother, is still on board, which will be part of the communication going forward with all the municipalities and all of our contracts. So again, we like to keep the relationship if possible. We also keep the name. There is no intent to change the name of Waste Connections. We always keep the local brand. I'm in charge of, I think I'm up to 12 different names, 12 different brands, between what Waste Away had and then what we also have in Illinois. So,
But wouldn't you send out a standard press release when that acquisition happens, or to all your clients? Because just sitting here, I'm not sure, maybe these guys know, I'm still not sure what name you would be under or who is servicing us, especially if you're making an acquisition that has a multiple of 12 names. Did you send a standard press release to Waste Management?
I have 12. The purchase wasn't called names, sorry. I have 12 different names that I would be in charge of, I guess. We just keep that local name. None of my, nothing I'm in charge of has the Waste Connections name. If you look it up, Waste Connections is the third largest waste hauler in the United States. Most of their brands were traded on the stock exchange. Most of our brands are the name that was originally there. We don't rebrand as Waste Connections. So that's what most people don't know us. And like I said, I thought that it was communicated, so that it's 100% on me that it was communicated. We had this conversation early in the acquisition, making sure everybody knew that it's still going to be Borden. Kyle Wolseley, who was running it, Eric Iver, who was running it, the intention was to keep it running the exact same way it was prior. We've had that conversation with the team members here that came with that acquisition. Evan, Johnny, and Derek came over with the acquisition. But we will continue to operate as board.
Mm-hmm.
To answer that question.
next item is our missed carts are not getting picked up within the 48-hour timeline that was established in the contract according to page 10, section 21B. It is improving, but still not to where we need it to be. And as you can see, following that is all the fines. We started issuing fines. I mean, we don't want to fine you into being in compliance. We want to work as partners with you folks, and the non-communication is the biggest issue. That and your call center not working right is creating us a lot of trouble here at the district.
Yeah, and I'll answer that quickly. And yes, we are improving. Are we at 100%? No. Our customer service did go through a complete change of systems, so they weren't answering. I know that both Robin and Lisa have really stepped up and helped us in that. And some days, frustrated as we were on the number of calls. So that's helping. We're aligning that. It's gotten better. I believe with going forward that we'll be able to switch that back to the customer service. So that you all understand what's happened is that we're supposed to take the calls. We were struggling taking the calls. Robin and Lisa started taking the calls with us, and has helped tremendously. We're very close to turning that back on. We look at the stats. We're looking at everybody learning the system. Okay. I mean, I don't want to go into a lot of different stats, but I appreciate that. I know we've been improving the fines. You're right. I want to work with you guys. I know we have 90 days, and we'll give you a formal review of what that has been. Some of them we agree 100%, and there's others that we've gone back within that time frame. They're not there, but we'll put all that together and work with your team and you play. Okay.
Okay.
But you will be paying the fines?
Yeah. There's some that we're gonna contest. But there are very many in here that we agree with.
Go ahead, Clay.
The next item is, in the contract states on page 6, 13-13-1, that you will pick up additional containers as long as they're marked recycling. Your folks are not picking them up. We're
Okay.
getting calls that they picked up the ones that's marked solid waste district, but they're not picked up the ones marked recycling.
That I wasn't aware of. I am aware of what the contract reads. We should be picking up anything outside the cart that's clearly marked recycling. So I'll make sure that the team knows that.
And this is, we struggle with this next one all the time, but carts need to be put back where they were picked up. And we understand the truck's still moving a little bit, but they can't be put too close to the road. They gotta be put back like on the edge of the driveways or at least on the public access part of the roadway.
And I think this is where our team can work with you is on some of the courtesy returns. If it's not on, I think that's kind of where we struggle, and we'll work with you on those. If it's not out and we're asked to go back and we're in the area and it's, I have no problem with that. But if it's the drivers, back at base and that call comes in or they're en route to the processing facility, that's where I think I want to work with the team. But I have no problem with some of the courtesy returns and we know that. And that's all communication. And I think that's what we've tried to improve. I've been on that. I've had a lot of conversations with you and you guys know I've been dealing with a lot of things on the back end on this.
And that is improving. And if you could, and I know you do pictures, so if you could send us the picture
Absolutely.
quickly, then when they call, we can say, hey, we weren't out, we're sorry, we're not gonna ask them to come back.
Okay. I honestly thought that was being done
Yeah, it is.
because with Ashley, we would assign one individual to your calls so that you get that immediate response.
I'm gonna let Lisa explain this next one.
Okay.
Blue tickets with the different contractors marking.
Well, it's just to avoid several tickets being entered and you guys going back. If the driver would, the first ticket, just say, hey, they had a competitor's card out. There was another company's name on it. It wasn't one of ours. It wasn't a personal one. That would alleviate so much more extra work. We've had, sent in like 3 or 4 Woo-Foo tickets stating, you're not picked up, you're not picked up. And then come to find out on the last ticket, it's a waste management cart or a Republic Services cart. It's like, well, if we would have known that at the very beginning, we could have told the customer, you're using the wrong cart, we need to get you one of ours, but
Sure.
it drug on.
So again, back to communication and I don't mean this to be coy, but unfortunately I'm not a Woo-Foo guy and Woo-Foo is our process of communication in between and we've just gone to ACE tickets, okay? And we kept Woo-Foo in place, long story short, so to allow you, and we're gonna transition to ACE because it's going to it'll quicken the communication between both of us. Okay, and you're right, we've dropped the ball as the team has tried to transition over to ACE, but still maintain some of the Woo-Foo. And that's as far as I can go on that because, based on my generation, we're not really, he gives me a lot bad time about technology and so.
Join the club. You're a whole other level.
Yeah.
Speaking of technology though, Evan, does the computer system in the truck allow the driver to put in a note?
Yeah, so our tablets that we're running currently, they allow the driver to put in a note. We're waiting on an update so we can get an external camera that'll hook up to that. And we'll be able to mount it in the window so it's easier for the driver to take pictures. The other thing that I wanted to bring up it hits a couple of these points, like the cars being put back where they are. We've had a pretty green team out there and we've been making some changes. Starting Monday, I'll have 5 of the 6 drivers that are veteran drivers out there versus newer drivers. And then the one that is a newer driver, he lives in the area, he's real familiar with this area. So I have the utmost confidence that he'll be able to perform the job out there.
Yeah,
So that should help on a lot of things.
And a good thing to note is, and I'll talk with the team, is the cameras we put in since we've done Waste Connections inside the trucks have the ability to pull that data as we have a perceived miss, an outlay, a perceived miss, or something that was left behind that we can look up. And I just need to communicate with the team. We just need to, I know you put somebody on it, but as far as the containers, you call in saying, hey, they said they didn't get picked up. We should be pulling that video, and then the person in the office could say, oh, they had a Republic can or a waste can, because you can see it as you're driving up to that location. So, again, further improvement on our end that we can work on, that we at least now have the technology to verify pretty quick for you.
Okay.
And something else I want to address to the board is we realize our distance from this contract. And another reason that I asked my boss to come in today is that we are looking at properties to create a satellite site here in this location that would house 7 to 8 vehicles, which required for backup vehicles and so on. So we have some appointments today. We've already looked at some of the properties. So, and of course that takes time as we continue. And I'm glad to see we are improving on some of these points.
So this is an area you want to continue to serve?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Actually, we'd like to grow in this area, to be honest. So the whole point was to continue this partnership, have that be more of a base, to be more of a player in this market.
I'll let you do the next one also, since it refers to the WooFoo tickets.
And since you're not a woofoo guy, and it sounds like we're getting away from that,
I'll let them
they come in sporadically. Like one day, like this morning, I think we only got one so far. But resolutions, we don't know what's going on. We'll get 1 or 2 one day, and then tomorrow it'll just boom, 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 and I just don't understand. Why don't we get them consistently?
I think that one, we're working on that internal process a little bit. The WooFoo comes to the customer support team member who's in charge of those, Ashley. She is also taking phone calls and other things along with that as her responsibility. So it might be she gets done with phone calls, tries to take care of 2 or 3 and get that back to you, which is might be why they come back kind of in groups. The other part of that is, if it's not something, she is trained on checking video and she is trained on some of the other technology that they talked about. But if she's unable to confirm something, or if sure enough the driver did miss it, so now I need to talk to the operations staff and find out when we're going to have somebody back there, and she may have to wait for that answer. And so it's a communication line. We don't have one person who is a customer support representative who's trained on the technology and is a manager of the drivers. And so there are other communications that have to happen before it comes back to her and she can get back to you. And so if Evan happens to be the operations manager that's getting back, he's out in the field helping a driver with something, he gets back, answers those 3, and then again, it would make its line back to you. It's just the logistics of it. I know that it's a high priority. I walk out and speak to Ashley several times a day to make sure that it's staying a priority. But that's why it takes a little bit more time, or why it may come back in groups.
Okay, because when people call and they're like, what is going on? And I'm like, I can't tell you. I don't know. I said the resolution hasn't come back yet, so I just bear with me, And then every day they'll call, and I'm like, oh, hey, I finally got the resolution. This is what has happened, But
and so that's an internal process that we started to talk about.
And don't be afraid to call me on that, because again, I assigned Ashley so that you ladies had that direct contact.
no, that's
I'll
been
go
great.
back and
Yeah, that's been great.
No, and I'll make sure that you're getting quicker responses, okay? And if you're not, please, you have my number.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked many times, call me, and I'll speed that process up for you.
And I'm happy to help as well.
No, and I apologize, I'm coming in as an outside here, but I should probably get you a laptop that you can bring with you in your truck.
I have
So
one.
this way he can, oh, you do?
Yes.
Yeah, so I would just make sure you start bringing that, so this way you can check before you drive. It's a little bit timely. I didn't know you already had one, but we've been buying our supervisors' laptops for that reason, so you don't have to drive all the way back to the fort to check stuff. But just bringing that with you is going to be key. So I apologize on that one. Just timeliness has become, it's been very important across the board in all of our contracts, right? It's these drivers that used to be able to get back to the yard and answer some emails and follow up. We got to get a little bit more timely for our residents out there. So.
Okay.
And these next three, I mean, it's all falling back on communication. It seems like we really have a big communication problem, but you're not letting us know when we have contaminated carts. We don't want you picking up contaminated carts. We want to tell the public that they need to correct that issue before it gets picked up. So we're doing our job and you're doing your job. Telling customers about cart swapping. You know, you tell them you're going to do it, and then you don't do it. You know, that's why these fines are coming up.
Sure.
It multiplies every time.
Well, and that's why the customer puts it away. You know, they're told that they're coming and then they don't come. So the customer puts the cart away and then you guys show up in the next day or two. And then you guys are like, well, we went back, but it wasn't out. Because like one day we got an email, they're going back today. And then we got an email later on, nope, it's going to be Wednesday. And then we got an email, no, they are coming back today. It's like, you know, and then Erica emailed and said, hey, we sent a truck back to that whole area, but there were no carts out. Well, what do you expect? They were told, you know, and I don't even know if the customer was told. We were told back and forth, yo, but I don't know if the customer was told. And if they called us on Friday and here it is Wednesday, some of them get fined if they leave them out, if they're in the city.
A lot of our communities have ordinances where you have to get the carts off your curb at a certain time, 24 or 48 hours.
Look, with some of these communication issues, I think what I'm going to walk out of here, you know, folks, and talk with the team that maybe we're talking to you every morning until we get back into the routine with everybody.
And we might even like to go back to our old system where we'd send you a report at 8:30 in the morning. Okay. And we'd expect a reply back by 2:30. And then we'd send you another one at 2:30 so you can address it the next morning.
I think that's a great idea. I didn't know that existed.
I was going to also bring up that we'll make sure that end of day, we send an email out that trucks are wrapped from what we know of we have to get done and are headed in should you get any calls after that, knowing that, hey, we're out of the area too. That always tends to kind of help with communication, and you get any calls after that. You know, somebody calls and says it didn't get picked up, you know at 4 o'clock that we're already done and gone. Anything after that is something that can be an action item for first thing in the morning, right? Just an easier answer if you should. So an end of the day wrap up email. I'll make sure Evan or one of the supervisors sends that out.
It needs to be before 4 though, because we leave at 4.
Okay.
So, and I know Ashley leaves at 3.
Yeah, but
3 or 10. Our routes probably won't be done by 4. There's some days that just won't be, specifically like A week Monday and Tuesday and B week Monday and Tuesday. The routes they're pretty large. They're over 1,000 stops. Being done by 4 o'clock.
For here or for our time? Remember,
that's right.
5 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's right. We're on a time limit.
Yeah, so
It shouldn't be a problem.
we'll be fine with.
Okay, because yesterday I got an email at like 7 o'clock at night saying that the Long Beach area, there were 125, 130 people missed, and they were going to go back first thing this morning.
Right.
Well, I can't do anything about it at 7 o'clock at night. So this morning when I was checking all my phone calls, you know, I at least I didn't put woo-hoo tickets in. You know, I called the people back and I said, you know, there was an incident last night. I know they didn't get to you, but they were going to come back first thing this morning. Did you get picked up? And they were like, yes, I did. So then that alleviated all those woo-hoo tickets.
Yeah, and so we have what's called call blasts, gentlemen. You know what call blasts are? It's in those cases. So I was notified last night at 7:30 myself. But if we know that's going to happen, a call blast will identify. So you go through the tablets and everybody gets a call. We weren't able to get you, and they will get the phone call.
We would have to have that.
I'm sorry.
I don't believe we have resident information.
But that's what we're going to go after.
Okay.
That's what our long-term plan is. We have that in a lot of our areas and communities, and so that's something that we can work on. Instead of you having to put in individual tickets, it works automatically. Okay.
And that's part of the reason that we have originally had some call volume issues as we switched systems that allowed us to do these kinds of things that, just like putting the cameras in the trucks and working on some more of these safety things. And then now the customer service side, we did a transition into a different routing software that then allows us to do those drag and drops. It also allows us to do breadcrumbs when you can see when you drive by a home. It'll also tell you if you picked it up. So we made that switch to get to a better place. And I think that's part of the reason you're seeing some of the improvement is we're getting used to that. It's a really good system. The one we're coming from was a little cumbersome. It didn't have some of these features, which is why you had Wufoo or all these other things. Ace is our version of Wufoo, right? But it's already integrated in our routing system. So it's everything kind of works together instead of having 3 or 4 different platforms. So again, should have been communicated that that's when we're rolling it out, and to expect maybe some call volumes as the customer service team's getting used to a new system. And again, we're going back to the communication side of this. So that can also be part of the end of the day email is, hey, starting next week we have this, or we're running a new truck out there. Just any sort of information that might be pertinent to your day-to-day or anything that might come in, I think would be important. And I'll work on with the team on the day-to-day to make sure we get something that kind of spells out everything going on. We've done this in a few counties or municipalities when we've struggled with communication, and then we just continue that email going forward. And I think it helps out a lot.
But if a customer after 5 comes home and hadn't been picked up, are they calling you at customer service versus the ladies?
Originally, they were calling, we recommended they call customer service.
Yes.
But since they was changing over their phone system, it really got messed up. So we had them all start coming back to us.
Yeah.
So
I
is that going
believe
back?
I believe that they have both numbers. At one point, we had connected it so that the
When they
number
called
for-
us, we could forward it to
It
them.
automatically, kind of came through to our customer support team. Because of some of our hold times, we cut that for now. And these 2 wonderful women and other team members are helping handle those calls. But again, as things normalize, we'll be able to push those through again.
So it shouldn't be calling, I don't know if that's what you want, but they should be calling you direct at the toll-free customer service line if there's an issue of not having your can picked up.
Yes.
Correct,
Yes.
and that's what I meant in the beginning, Mr. Mayor, is that it is all supposed to be coming to us. The contract states that, but because we went through the transition, the ladies started taking a lot of those calls to help us through. So they've been very helpful in that respect, but we're getting very close to bringing all those back.
In order to help our residents, you can still call our number, and we had press 1 and push it right to Borden.
Right.
If they haven't missed or need a card. So they didn't have to memorize a new number, just they call us, and we can still get it to Borden. Hey, that last one is still communication, so we'll jump on to the next page where it says drivers are not backing down one-way streets and asking customers to put their cards on the other side of the street. One-way streets is not a new, it's not.
No, I know, and I think, Clay, this is where we'll have to arm wrestle on a couple of items, because we're very, one thing about our company, and I'll tell you, and I mentioned this to Clay in our first meeting, is the safety aspect. We take safety very serious in some of our trucks. Unfortunately, we will not have our individuals take certain risks. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't be servicing those customers. We are looking at different equipment, other ways to service it, even having the supervisors go in. So I'm not saying we're not going to service it, gentlemen. I know that there's been some decisions that the drivers have made, and we haven't followed up quick enough to the resolution to get back to that communication that everybody's talking about. So we are going to come up with better solutions instead of going into some of these one-way streets, so that we can properly service your customer and be safe at the same time. So that's a long ways about saying is that I'll get there, but we're going to do it the safe way, sir.
Well, I understand, but I think you need to work out some individual MOUs with the municipalities that said we're going to, drive the wrong way down a one-way street at this time of day or something. You need to figure out a better way than go to the Corrado can where you have 2 guys on the truck and you're pulling at each side and dumping.
I'll only smile because he loves Corrado and I don't. but you're right. If the right answer is whatever the right mousetrap and the right vehicle is for that.
And we want you to be safe. Don't take this the wrong way. We want you to be safe.
So I agree with you.
Are you, okay, so we've had a few times, because it happened to be right by City Hall, so we automatically get calls. The Borden trucks going down the one-way street, I think it was Jefferson, a few times. You're not doing that on purpose. We just thought, hey, you're new. You probably didn't recognize the one-way streets. You're not going on purpose one-way.
Absolutely not. That's
Okay.
the way to service it, because the alternative is that type of vehicle is crossing the street. So because that type of vehicle that we're servicing your contract with right now only has the ability to operate on the right side. So they would have to be on that side and walk across the street. And we push back on that. We've had lately numerous fatalities, of people crossing.
But you're not going to go down the wrong one-way.
No, there's a vehicle out there with dual arms, and there's all, so we are looking into what works. And I know the Corrado would work best because you can jump out in that, and I know my boss can get me a Corrado, no problem.
Yeah.
So
What's a Corrado?
So, first of all, the crossing over on a one-way, of course, there's so many people will go past us and go around. And we've had a lot of very, very serious incidents where you're walking in front of the truck and you go around the truck and somebody's passing you at a high rate of speed and somebody gets clipped. So that's the reason we don't like to drag it all the way across multiple lanes. Now, a Corrado truck is the one with the bucket in the front.
Oh, okay.
The maker of that bucket is called Corrado. So, it's a front load truck that has that automated arm on one side.
Mm-hmm.
But the nice thing about those is you could drive on that left side, right? If there's two lanes going in one direction, you could drive on the left side and still work on that side without crossing. Or right now, prior Borden only did the automated side load truck. So it's just the one with the arm right in the middle of the truck.
Right.
You'd have to drag it all the way around and into traffic to get that dumped. And we've got some trucks on order. We've got some additional trucks on rent now, just so that we have more coverage because they had a pretty limited spare ratio. So we're doing some things to make sure we don't have those issues. And also, we've had conversation about getting a Corrado truck over here to run each day, run those kind of streets specifically. Also looked at a smaller rear load, I think, would also be an option, is to send over here and to run those more hard to reach areas.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because the one-ways aren't the only ones that are hard to get to. Some of those streets were going down, and I think they've sent some pictures on some of these real tight alley-like streets. They're not exactly garbage truck friendly, right? So.
The next one gets back, and I know Bert and I have been talking about this, the communication. When you have an incident, I don't want to be embarrassed by not knowing that you had an incident when my bosses call me to tell me, hey, what's going on? Or my bosses get a call from the attorney saying, hey, there's an incident in LaPorte. What do you know? And I say, I know absolutely nothing. We've had, I think, 4 this year. And
I only know 2, but maybe these were before I came in April.
well, there was the major accident on Highway 2.
Yeah, that was my fault
And there was
for not
the
mentioning.
confrontation on a one-way street with the school bus. That was on Jefferson, the one the mayor was talking about.
I don't remember exactly the one.
And then there was the mirror.
No, I do. So I can't remember exactly what happened. I know that our truck and the school bus, neither one would back up. I'm not sure if I know some school bus departments aren't allowed to back. I know the one my kids go to, they're not allowed to back school buses. And I think our truck couldn't back into a busy intersection.
So I'll tell the board and I'll tell you, Clay, like I stated on the phone, as soon as I know about the incident, I'll call you. I apologize. That day we had the incident, the one that was most recent, Kyle, where it was the right-hand turn and I called Clay in the afternoon and you want to be notified instantly.
Right.
So just give me a couple minutes to get all the information and then I'll make that phone call. personally.
Yeah, it's my job to keep these guys from getting all the complaints.
Understand?
Yeah.
I get it.
And he has to call, and he calls me immediately after, so I mean, just call him before you call me, and it makes it an
I will.
easier, just because he's already used to calling me immediately after, because I have the exact same reasoning behind it. I don't want to hear about it from somebody else, right?
That's the same with me. I don't want to hear about it from somebody else. I want to hear about it from you.
Yes, sir.
Understood.
And like the third one was the mirror on Lincoln Way.
Yeah.
And the fourth one was one you just talked about. That's the 4 incidences we had.
The one that,
Yeah, right hand
Okay.
turn. Yeah, you let me know about that one.
yes.
So, like I said, just all this stuff really boils down to communication. And it sounds like you're aware that you've got some problems communicating with us. So, but we're not being told we have truck issues and things are going to be delayed. It does say that it is improving. Next one would be, we have taken all the calls over and we're working on that one too. So we don't need to go into that. And the last one is the public drop off in Michigan City. And I will tell you, I went over there yesterday because that's your pickup date. I just wanted to see. That was excellent. I mean, if you could do that every Tuesday, that'll make us happy.
Is that every Tuesday or every other?
That is the
Tuesday?
one that's every other Tuesday. So there's been some discussion on that one. I don't know if any decision's been made by you guys. That site is currently serviced every other week as opposed to.
I think that's every week.
That's
There
every
was
week.
supposed to.
Yeah,
Michigan
yeah, the
City's
other
every
one
week.
is
Which one is it?
Compost
That's
site.
the compost sites every
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah, we're getting,
I
Okay,
apologize.
my.
Yeah.
that one we're gonna look at maybe going to every week. There's been a lot of
Yeah.
use.
Yeah, we need to confirm that.
And just confirm it's every week.
And we'll make sure, because I think on the route sheet, it shows every other week, right?
Well, the compost site, those are two different
Okay.
sites. I always get those.
All right, my fault.
Yeah, I apologize.
And Clay, if I may, yeah, since I live in Michigan City and I go to that site to take my stuff there, yeah, every time I go there, it's really, especially after Tuesday, after you guys stop and pick up, they're doing a much better
Good,
job, yeah. So I gotta tell you guys that.
thank you.
'Cause I was probably the first one in line to complain about it, but I'll be the first one in line to say thank you guys for getting the drivers out there and doing the thing, so that looks a lot better.
Have you recommend take pictures
You know, and since we're talking about that,
after service?
Michigan City, is there, and I don't know how we can do this, is there any way that we can get, I know there's 9 boxes there now, to get more, maybe a couple more boxes over in Michigan City?
I would not recommend it. You're getting a lot of contamination over there. They're not, your residents just aren't using the boxes as they should be. So, I mean, I'll do what you tell me to do and we'll, because we had 12 over there to start with and we moved forward to our compost site and left 8 over there.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
So
Internal, just let us know.
Yeah, we'll talk
okay.
about it.
we can
Okay.
move boxes there if you'd like, so whatever you prefer.
Yeah, okay, but good job on cleaning up.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, we can move on.
That's the last item on my points. Any of you have anything you need to address?
Not anything, there's nothing particular that I want to address. I just want to thank you guys for coming in today and listening to the issues. And I think you're working a lot better now with the ladies and, getting things put in place. And so how long's it been, you guys, since your first year, right? That you've had this contract?
Actually, I've had it since March of last year.
Last January.
March
24.
That's what was irritating. We signed it in January of last year, and they did all the acquisition by March. And it's like, yeah, you didn't know you were going to do this before January? I don't quite believe that, but hey, whatever.
Okay.
Like I said, that was pre, me being a part of the site of communication. Obviously now is something that we need to address, and I'm going to take full responsibility for you not having knowledge of this prior to then, because like I said, I was in Indiana 2 days a week all of last year, so I pretty much lived at the Hilton, the hotel Elkhart there. 2 days a week, so that's on me. I thought it was already communicated, so I apologize The one nice thing is we don't come in and change a bunch of stuff, we don't remove a bunch of people. The intent was to keep all the staff there, obviously Eric, Ivory, and then Woolsey decided to find different opportunities. But like I said, we'd like to make sure we still have the same team. The communication of the change of, our routing software and the phone systems obviously should have been a little bit more proactively done. This way you could expect a couple of weeks, a month of a little bit of an issue in communication, but we'll work on getting better at that. Daily emails, I'll make sure those start tomorrow. The question is, would you just like it to be the staff over here that gets that email? And they can forward on if there's any issues, or would any of you like to be involved?
I think if they'll notify the office, and then if it's pertinent, you guys email us stuff already, so.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure you didn't want to be in the
Because your daily emails probably wouldn't mean much to us.
No, that's why I wanted to ask. I didn't want you to feel like we're communicating with everybody here. So we'll send it to staff here and they can communicate it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and as far as I'm concerned, what's happened in the past has happened in the past. We've had our meeting now. To me, things are getting a lot better than they were, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, because I'm going off the, information that you guys are giving us, and as long as you guys think they're getting better, okay,
We do.
then I'm satisfied, and we just keep moving forward to take care of these issues that came up today, get that cleared up, and let's just move forward and have a good contract. Okay?
We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Well,
Appreciate it.
I don't know if any board members have anything they want to add.
No, I just second appreciate you all coming out here today and addressing these issues, taking steps already and continuing to move forward. It's also encouraging to hear that you want to build a satellite base out here, and that helps to show your commitment to LaPorte County. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
And
Been looking for 6
If you're interested, if you got talk to our RDC, our econ director, because we've got KOP out there. We're just itched to put business out there.
Really?
And there's already a waste collection site out the transfer station.
Really?
I think we're interested.
Okay.
Something to look into. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Well, good.
I'll give you my
Yeah,
card
my follow.
after. I'll get you to email me.
okay. Please do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you for that.
Clay, anything else for these
Not
gentlemen?
for these gentlemen, no, sir.
Okay. You guys are welcome to leave and appreciate it, or if you want to sit and we only have a resolution that we have to approve here for a loan, so
Okay.
it's going to take.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciate it, and you'll have my card if you need anything.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Kyle. Okay, moving on to the resolution.
This is the resolution we talked about in July. The only thing was changed on item number 3. It had my name and everything there, and the board recommended that we put the chairman's name there. So now it becomes Chairman Prespolinski's. Will come in and sign any documents once we get to that point.
Thank you.
We haven't secured a loan yet. We solicited. I'm waiting towards the end of the year to see if I have any cash to put more towards the payloader and borrow less. So we're gonna wait till later, but you approved it, but you wanted to change. So this is the amended one, so we need to approve it again.
All right. Yeah, from what I recall, we were just waiting on that to be redrafted. So I'd make a motion to approve the resolution 2025-01.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Joe.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the amended resolution to obtain a loan. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, that's been approved. I think that's it on the agenda.
That's it. We'll meet again in September for a
Okay.
regular meeting.
All right,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
motion to adjourn, second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen.